My name is Harry Mashigi. It's an Armenian name. I'm an Armenian American, American first, of course. I was born in Middle East, where used to be part of Syria and Turkey on the Mediterranean Sea in 1931. So that makes me about 92 years old as we speak. My parents were born and raised on the Mediterranean, and we were there for 8 years when the conflict started, and it continues over and over. My father decided from Syria slash Turkey we'll move to Lebanon. So one evening a boat came from Egypt, knock knock on the door. My father said, "You have half hour to take your clothes, put it on your back, and we're gonna go to Lebanon." Some of us cried, others were unhappy, but we had no choice. That was survival. My father was a doctor and a pharmacist in that little town. Next morning, we woke up in Beirut, Lebanon, and that's where I grew before I migrated here. My goal from childhood was to come to America because they had a lot of chocolates over here. So we said hello, and aunt came and picked us up. We went to a place, half an hour drive on the Mediterranean Sea called Junie. And it was a Christian city, and Lebanon was divided between the Jews in one area, the Muslim other area, the Christians other area. But we got along very, very well and started learning another language. So at home we spoke Armenian, and I still speak fluent. And in Lebanon, at the time was under the French mandate. So learning French was mandatory, and we learned Arabic. So simultaneously, we were learning Armenian, Arabic, French. So as we speak today, I can I'm fluent in French. As a matter of fact, I volunteer. I teach the language at the college over here. So of course, as kids, we were always fighting, but we had a happy life. The food that my mother prepared, a lot of fish. Every other day we had fish from the Mediterranean Sea. She would prepare it. One of us had to walk about 5, 6 blocks to the baker to cook it. And often my mother would give me 5 cents to get a big French bread. So as I'm coming back one day, that bread smelled so good, and I was so hungry. So I took a piece, and a second piece, and a third piece. By the time I came home, there was no bread left. My mother said, "Okay, we're waiting for you. Where's the bread?" Because we had to eat bread with our meal. That was a must. So we're bread eaters. That was life. So I had to confess, I said, it was so good. I ate it all. Of course, my mother was not very happy with me because she had to feed 4 other children. We were all together, 5 boys and a girl in a family. So that is something I never forget. But I still taste that French bread freshly made as I'm confessing. At age 13, the Australian came to Lebanon. This is World War II. So we had blackouts in the homes. At night, all of the windows were painted dark blue, so the lights are not there. We would go out and watch the fighting, the illumination. I got involved from childhood into physical fitness, so I was very active in physical activities like I took wrestling, some tennis, weightlifting, and ever since I was 12 years old until I speak now, I still go to the gym as a 92-year-old to keep my health. It's an opportunity. Now I arrived to the United States, and my aunt picked me up, and we took the train to New York. And Christmas time, I took the train and went back to Detroit to my aunt's house. And at church, I told my aunt, I'm 20 years old. I think it's time for me to get married. This is in 1951. Things were different. Uh, your parents, your aunts made the decision who we should marry, the kind of person, but I had a mind of my own. I was made up my mind. So we went to church, the activities. When I was sitting in church, I'm also looking around to see if there's anybody that is attractive so I can befriend them. Or at least I can check, see if they're married, they're single. And sure enough, oh my goodness, I nudged my aunt. I said, Auntie, turn back on the third row. There's a most beautiful girl looking toward us. I took one look. All I saw, those great big eyes with a gorgeous looking creature, I said. It was the most beautiful girl. So we walked by. Hi, how are you? I want to introduce my nephew to you. And all I could see, her eyes looking at me. So I made an eye contact. She was kind of shy. She stopped looking. And I continued talking in Armenian to the mother. I figure I want to strike an impression on the mother so I could at least get to know the daughter. And that's how our life started. Now, the story goes like this. She said, I did see you. I couldn't believe how attractive you were. I had hair all curled up. I had a beautiful white shirt with a white jacket and a necktie. She said, I looked, I couldn't get my eyes off of you. I said, I did the same thing. And that's how our life started. And she says, when we got married, if you ever lose your hair, I am divorcing you. And she would threaten me like that. And I used it all my life. Look at your head. I have lost. Are you going to divorce me yet? So it's been, this story goes back 70 years. We've been married 70 years. That's how I met her. In church, I knew that I would marry that girl. And the rest is, as I said, it's been a happy life, and we traveled together all over the world. And now, slowly, we're slowing down. She has slowed down a little more than what I expected, but that's life. You deal with it. It's I always said it's dealt, you have to deal with it. And we had a very, very happy life. But up and down, just like all marriages. But we must have done something right that we've been together 70 years.